Hey, hi everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Geoff. And why Conversations with Geoff, I think is the title of this quick discussion, and really kind of coming to get to know me. Who is Geoff Tyson? And I will tell you, that's a great question. And I grew up as a struggling young boy, come from a great family, two loving parents, five siblings in total. And we had a great life, and just like many kids when I was growing up, there was some confusion around acceptance and boys don't cry and be a man and don't be a sissy and so if you're sensitive like I was, then you're kind of like, where do I take all this confusion, right? I mean, if I feel somebody punches you in the face, you're playing with your buddies and it hurts, at least you can't cry, right? Because you're already trained not to. You learn these things early, right? So and then hey, the beautiful part about my mom and dad is they were loving parents, right? I say were because they're both gone now. They were married 44 years before my mom passed, but they were loving parents. And man, you talk about the power of a dream. Let me tell you something, right? I grew up, back when, it wasn't too far away from being able to vote, right? It wasn't too far away from a lot of things that were terrible physically. There's a lot of things still happening. I mean, it was a changing world back then, right? And my parents, though, I'm gonna tell you something. They came home. Our world was love. It was examples. It was you talk about how do you achieve things, how do you acquire your dreams, your focus. You know what you want. They wanted 5 kids, right? And they wanted to give those kids everything they could, and that's what they did, man. Right? I mean, in a time when Black folks weren't supposed to have a lot. And we were, and we did have some things that a lot didn't have. And part of that was going to an education system that was better. And, so here we are, we moved from the city to another city in the kind of a suburban type setting, and we're in between, right? We're living here. We have our brown people community right here to my right, and then the school that we were going to be bused to, the better school and all that was to my left. And here I am, a 5-year-old boy, shiny, dressed up on the outside, right? Dressed up on the outside, already a shiny garbage can, man. So just imagine that, not the Rubbermaid you got to rub, but the real, almost like stainless steel shiny cans, right? The ridges, the tight lid, all that. That was me. I was going to school, first day of school, right? I told you about the neighborhood, going to a school where we were bused to, so they weren't really wanting to see us, weren't real happy about the fact that we were coming. And then when I come home to a community that, we were still different, right? Same color skin, but still different because we had some things that they may not have had. So I didn't know what the hell was going on in life. I didn't know where to fit in, but outside, I did what they told me. Smile, you're okay. Boys don't cry, be a man. And I lived that lifestyle for years, man. But things changed for me along the way because I struggled in school, and school liked me so much. They liked me so much that first year that it held me back one more time just to see me again. So now I'm not only struggling to be who I am as a person, I'm a dumb kid for real now because they'd already told me before this was happening I was a dumb kid, and the schools confirmed that. So nowhere to fit. Not too smart, still goofy looking, big head, big ears, all that stuff. But I'm hanging, right? On the outside, I'm a shiny kid, man. But then something happened in my life. I started to grow a little bit. I found out that I was faster than most, if not all. And, back then, push-ups and pull-ups, we had these little tests across the country, and I could do more push-ups than everybody in the school, more pull-ups, and I was, not too bad looking, and I found out that I was a good athlete, and I said, I want to be a professional football player, and that's what I went after, man. So I ignored all the rest of the stuff. I didn't try in school, and as I grew and got better, my goal was to get a scholarship to a Division I school. I got a scholarship to a Division I school that just won the national championship. I was on my way, no longer the dumb kid. I'm the athlete. So the garbage can's shiny now because I had athlete written around it. And did I tell you, a lady started to like me a little bit, so I was a Playboy athlete. Don't have time for that story, but there's more to come with that. You folks out there that are Playboy athletes, I got something for you. We're coming back at you later, all right? So listen, I get this stuff, man. So I graduate, and I got to tell you just a quick story about life. I had a professor who loved my family, loved my mom and dad, knew I didn't do work, I didn't try, and I was a good kid. And he told me, Geoff, I got a test. You got to pass this test. You don't pass this test, man. I looked at your grades. You're in trouble. So I said, okay, yeah, cool. Well, guess what? I didn't pass the test. I was in trouble. And he was a decision maker. And he told me, he said, listen, I'm going to make a decision I'm against, but I know I'm doing it for your parents and not you. If it was up to me, I'd take you outside and beat blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to do this. And you mess this up, I will come beat you myself. And he was a big man, and I believed him. But he also said, I know you can do it, so don't let me down. Don't let yourself down. And at that time, I didn't know what that meant. Don't let your parents down. I can relate to that. So I got that. He gave me the scholarship. I got in, right? And sometimes we learn self-destructive behaviors along the way, right? So I went to this school, and I'm used to being the man. Hear me, used to being the man, right? So I go there. I had some surgery on my foot, so I wasn't in shape. I go out there. These boys smoked me, right? So this coach was hollering at me like, oh, all kinds of names I've never been called before. So now I'm still the dumb kid because he still don't outgrow that. I still don't feel like I fit in anywhere, so I'm masking myself. So I'm a dressed up garbage can, playboy athlete now, college student on my way to NFL. And I said, man, I can't have this, right? I wanted to quit, but I didn't, right? Because I had that example of my parents where they had focus. I was still focused on being an NFL player, right? So, okay, I'll show you. And I got in shape, before we got suited up, man. So things were changing. And we go to practice, and one day hey, listen, things change and you don't expect them, right? We went to a game for the underclassmen. I didn't play. Coach said, hey, everybody was supposed to play Jeff Tyson. I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to play. I'm like, whatever. Man, I switched the gear again, got ready, went to practice that following week. I was in fire, right? So I showed them who I was, right? I'm a running back. I was running back then, and I wasn't really big, but I had it smart. I was fast. Anyway, I heard a couple guys on the defense, the number one team against the scrubs. That's who we practiced like, but I hurt myself, and I was done. That whole dream was over. So now what do? I'm still the dumb kid, right? I still don't fit in. Now I'm an athlete that's a wash up because I can't play anymore. I still have my college education that I can get, but I don't know how to get it. But I had to focus on my parents. They had a dream. I wasn't going to fail. I could not go back. Without my college degree because I was going to be the first one in my family to do that. So I got connected, had some people help me study, learned how to study, got out in 4 years on the dean's list because I put some effort into it. I got focused. I started to believe. Once I started to believe, I did more work. I took more action, got better results. You're hearing what I'm talking about, the power of the mind. So I graduated. I get this great corporate job. I had a great corporate life. And I'm moving all along. And then my mom and dad, they were still kicking it. And, come, 40 years into marriage, my mom got sick. And I'm that corporate guy with that shiny garbage can. Now I'm a corporate guy, okay, still playing the ladies and dying on the inside. The garbage can was smelling. You know what you put in the garbage can. You know what happens if you have a garbage can out in the sun and the lid's on it. You pop that lid off. You better run. The funk inside of that, the pain. Think of the funk as the pain of not liking myself. The pain of feeling not worthy, not being a part of. The pain of lying and giving up myself to please others, right? All that stuff, man. Started to rot. The can started to rust a little bit. My mom got sick and my dad got sick. And I'm going to the hospital to visit my mom. She got sick first. And they got sick within a 30-day period, right? And I go in the hospital. I'm still the player, the corporate guy, but things weren't working like they used to. And I was really, the can started smelling. I really started smelling the can inside, right? Because what you push down eventually is going to come up. It does. And thank God it does. If it doesn't, man, that's why people die with heart attacks and all that other stuff. But anyway, so I go in there. Now hear me out now. My mom's in the bed. My pops is at the foot of the bed. And he's painting their toenails. And I'm thinking, man, that's what I want. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but that's what I want. Okay? And you know what? From that point on, I was still stinking garbage can, but I surrendered my corporate life. You know, I hung out with my mom and I negotiated a severance package. So I had a year or so off, and you know, I hung with my mom and my dad, and my mom passed. I was able to hold my mom's hand while she had her last breath with my siblings and be present because I had surrendered the garbage can, right? I mean, no longer was I trying to please people I didn't like. No longer was I trying to be who I wasn't. No longer was I, you know, still hounded by the voice of a failure, a dumb kid, all that stuff. Not as much because I had began to work with myself. I associated with people that showed compassion to me until I can show compassion for myself. People that showed love to me so I can show love to myself. So compassion, I work with people on compassion. I work with people on surrender, giving up who you are. You got to give it up to get down in that garbage can, man, and get that out of there, right? Peel back the layers. And I peeled those layers back. And I left corporate America and finally got my own business. And now I'm back again, but I'm on the inside. I'm growing, baby. I'm not the garbage can anymore. So I'm taking life as life shows up. And life shows up, right? I built this business, 7 figures in 3 years, more multi in 5 years, growing and growing. And overnight, that business went from 7 figures to 2 figures. And now, guess what, though? I had some support around me. I had some belief in me. I had some different practices. I didn't take it personal. I realized that stuff happens, all right? And I wasn't alone. So get into the solution. And I learned focus and the power of a dream. I learned determination. I learned the resilience by watching my parents, by being an athlete, right? So, you know, think about who you've been around when you're growing up that had an impression on you. Those are the things and they were valuable impressions, positive impressions. That's the thing you want to go back to because we all have what I have been through. It's what you choose to do with it. And so anyway, we're here today and I'm talking to you about my life today. And it's beautiful because now I'm able to come back here and share with you 3 things that I recognize as our valuable differences, right? And if you're all stood at the garbage can, you got to surrender, number 1. You got to learn some forgiveness, number 2, and then get ready to peel back the layers, baby. Because the only way you get better is to peel them off and let the scabs finally heal. And that's what I've done. And that's what I can do for people in these conversations. So conversations with Geoff are for real conversations. And I'm going to talk about relationships, you know, and then I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to talk about divorce because I went through divorce and I had some experiences with that. I'm going to talk about job loss and career loss. I'll talk about death, okay? I'm just sharing from my perspective. But I'm going to tell you something, you youngsters out there that recognize that you think you got it all going on and life's just going to be easy. You better wake up. I'm talking to you single parents out there that are doing some things you shouldn't be doing and teaching your kids to do the same thing, right? Those of you collecting, you know, stamps when you shouldn't be, when you can go out and get a job. Now your kids are going to continue to perpetuate themselves into poverty. That's got to stop, okay? So those are just a few things. So anyhow, thank you for listening. Conversations with Geoff. Keep it real. Show up. Love you. Bye-bye.